And welcome back to Subculture on centralcoastradio.com. Well, we have got one of the hardest working bands in the world on our show today. I'm talking about Don Broco, who of course are about to jump into their Australian tour after two very big tours that they've been doing overseas as well. So we'll talk about that. But to tell us a little bit about these great shows that are coming up in Melbourne, Sydney and Brisbane, welcome to the program, Rob.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me. How's it going your end?
Really good. So just that perfect time of the year with the nice weather and everything like that. But mate, you guys have been so busy over the past few months. Tell us a little bit about what that has been like for you.
Thanks for the big up as well. Hardest working band. I like that. I mean, it doesn't feel like that. The last few weeks we kind of had off, and it's been we've just been watching a lot of TV. So it's I felt like there was a kind of a slightly bit of a white lie there. It doesn't feel like that the last few weeks, but before that we were working very hard. I mean, just a lot of touring really. We started the year off in Europe with one of your bands from Oz, Ocean Grove, who are, I guess, one of our probably favourite bands right now, and Sleeping with Sirens. So that was like a kind of 3.5-4 week jaunt across Europe, where we kind of hit up kind of some of the usual places we've been to a few times, like Germany and France and Italy and a few new places we'd never been to before, like in Scandinavia and Budapest. And it was really, really cool because we hadn't played any of those places since the pandemic. And the shows were just, they were just popping. It was like the most excitement we've definitely ever felt before as a band. Especially playing places we'd never been to before, where traditionally we've been a band who have kind of grown through just like hammering it, hard work, playing loads of shows, just coming back and slowly building up a fan base. So it's kind of weird for us when you get to go to somewhere you've never been to before, and it's like a sold out show where they know all the words, and it's like even though the internet has definitely been around for a while, it still kind of baffles us. We're like, wow, you guys have just discovered us from the internet. It's literally not through us coming out and touring. You've just discovered, heard new music through, whether it's discovering us on Instagram or Spotify, or, people, word of mouth via the web. So that's always kind of really cool when that does happen, because it doesn't happen a lot for us. And then, we basically straight off the back of that went into our UK tour with Papa Roach, who are, one of our all-time favourite bands, probably one of the bands that, definitely one of the bands that got us into heavy music right at the start of our kind of musical journey as kids, when you're kind of working out what you like and discovering like this, this genre of loud guitars and, aggression and shouting and just badassness. So, getting to tour with one of our heroes was definitely like a career highlight. And now, you've had a few weeks off, and then, Australia week after next, I believe now,
Yeah. What's that like? Like you said, Papa Roach is one of those bands that so many of people of our generation looked up to and helped us get into heavy music. Did you find yourself kind of starstruck with them backstage, or how did you find that experience?
I think we would have, because I don't usually get in general starstruck by band celebrities or anyone like that, unless, I was a fan. So they could have been that, but they're so nice. Like, they're literally the nicest, most down-to-earth dudes you could ever meet. So, it wasn't even a thing, the very first day, we went, said hello, and you can meet bands, it's not to say they're not nice people, but you can meet some bands who are just kind of, they've been doing it for a while, they want to keep to themselves, and they're maybe a little bit shy, or they've done it for long enough that they kind of can't be bothered. And I respect that. Everyone is, you get tired, but these guys, Papa Roach, are not that band. They're like, they've got such, just like this warm energy about them. They're just really friendly dudes. They love music. They love still doing their jobs, touring, playing shows. So it's like this just real positive energy every time you meet them backstage. And, they're honestly, like, I can't think of a bad band to tour with just for, like, the vibes. Like, it's just so good.
Yeah, you mentioned before, too, it sounds like you get very excited when you get to play somewhere that you've never played before. Do you kind of change your set list for those shows because they are places where people haven't been able to come and see you play live before? Do you change your set list a little bit to match that?
Sometimes a little bit, yeah. I mean, yeah, throughout the European tour, we were kind of mixing up the set, and, it's kind of weird for us now having 4 albums under our belt. We were having to make, like, sometimes really annoying choices where you can't play all the songs you want to. Otherwise you'd be there for, just hours and hours and hours. So, yeah, we're probably more likely to, if we're playing somewhere completely brand new, we're kind of more likely to, like, play just, like, more singles and the obvious hits, because we've been in those positions where we've seen bands that usually at festivals, like massive bands, where, I remember being disappointed when I'm like, man, this is the first chance I've got to see this band. Like, you're really excited for, like, what you think would be an obvious song they play, and they don't. So we try and put ourselves in, like, the shoes of fans who would be feeling that. And then, when we get to go places a few more times, we're then more likely to mix it up, because people would have seen us, play those songs before. Let's give them something different. But yeah, so it was kind of cool mixing the setup in Europe, and then the UK. We kind of we kind of solidified. They were like the more high pressure, bigger shows, and we were like, we want to know what we're doing going in, and not just like pull something out on the fly we haven't played for in a few years and forget how to play it mid-song. So we kept it a bit more straight up.
Away from the stage as well, do you find that kind of exciting when you're in a city that you've never been in before to get out and do a little bit of exploring, or did you not have much time for that on this tour?
On the European run, it kind of sucked because, the shows were great, apart from, for me, for 2 of them, because about half of us got ill. We all, like, within the first week, we just, you're like coldy and fluey, and it's probably something you'd fight off pretty quick if you were at home, because you're on the road and you're playing shows every night. Your body just takes a little while to do it. So the whole day was like, my mentality is, look, the show is the most important thing. Like, I'm not going to go tire myself out looking around somewhere and then jeopardize the show. So it was like just me, like, huddling around a hot cup of lemon sip or some lemon and honey, and just, like, making sure the show was as good as possible. And apart from one of them where I lost my voice completely, and one of them where I could barely move on stage because I was just, like, aching. Where your whole body is just in this weird. And I actually sang the best I think I've ever sung because I physically couldn't move. Yeah. So all I was doing was just concentrating on the singing. So it was a great vocal performance, but, like, zero rocking out. So when that, unfortunately, winter touring, you just get these things do happen. So we didn't do as much exploring as we would have, and it's a shame because, as a band, that's one of our favorite things to do. We're like, I hope we never get, jaded and get bored of, like, that kind of, that side of being on the road, because, like, exploring new places, getting to, like, I love, we love, like, good food recommendations, trying anything. We're just a sucker for any, like, local favourite. You know, someone's like, man, you got to try this burger or whatever. You know, it might be something you've had a million times before, but you know, we love being those guys to like try the local places, getting to like explore the nightlife if you can, and just like, you know, everything about it. That, you know, we're definitely like, we try to, you know, turn it as much into little holidays you can, because you can't really take it for granted getting to do this as a job where you get to explore places. Like if you're just sat inside the venue all day, it's kind of like, what's the point? So I'm stoked to come out to Australia a few days early actually, and explore Melbourne, because the last time we were in Australia, the Melbourne show was jam-packed in the middle of the others, and just like the way the timings worked out is we flew in for the show, went straight to the venue, sound checked, got some food like literally like 3 doors down from the venue, played the show and flew straight off. And like all we saw was one street, and you know, we've heard some amazing. So many Australians just big up Melbourne so hard. Where are you guys based?
I'm biased. I live just out of Melbourne, so yeah, I'm a Melbourne boy. So completely biased, but I mean,
I feel like a lot of people around from other parts of Australia as well. I mean, and as someone who, you know, from obviously not from Australia, when I kind of think of Australia, I think of more of the kind of the Sunshine Coast, the Gold Coast, the more, I guess, like obvious holiday destinations. And I guess that's probably like more of a tourist thing as well. They're more like, that's a holiday place, but as an actual city to live and all the stuff to do, you know, everyone says Melbourne is the one. So I'm excited to actually spend a few days there before the tour. Fingers crossed if my visa comes through in time, and get out and actually, get to do some stuff before, because unfortunately this time we have to kind of jet back straight away to go to our next tour in the States. So we don't have time at the end of it. And yeah, last time when we had a bit of time, we like did a few days in Sydney, which was awesome.
I think with Melbourne, we've got a very unique culture. We've got this kind of thing where Melbourne is the heart of Australia's music and theatre and arts community, but it's also, strangely enough, the sporting capital of Australia as well. So it's kind of got this weird culture where it's got a real mix of art, theatre, music, and sport all rolled into one.
Yeah, well, that's perfect, really. I guess that's kind of, it's without being the capital, it's kind of your London then, because that's London. There's just so much stuff going on, and that's, you know, I kind of moved a few years ago now, and it's like I barely scratched the surface of all the, you know, the cool stuff there is to do, and there is that energy when that's around you. You do feel, you know, that compared to say living in a slightly out of town place, which I've done before, and you're like, you know, you can't help feeling like this is such a slower pace of life, a bit more relaxed, and that's nice too. But yeah, I'm all for doing a million things and like soaking up, you know, cool shit. So yeah, I think I'll have a good time in Melbourne.
And let's be honest, our capital city here in Australia, Canberra, it was only a city that was manufactured because the government at that time didn't want to have to pick between Melbourne and Sydney. So they just built a brand new city, which has not got the population anywhere near as much as Melbourne and Sydney. So, yeah, it's a weird little city. Yeah. But, mate, what have you got in store for your Australian fans, like, set list-wise?
I think we're going to play, so the first time we came out was just before we released Technology, so the album before last. So, you know, we were mostly playing songs from that, but I don't think everything had come out. It was like maybe a month or two before the album came out. So most of the singles were out, but we hadn't quite kind of embraced the full album. So we're definitely going to be like diving into that one, because I feel that was like the first album that kind of Australia was the first album released properly in Australia. So we'd definitely be drawing upon that. maybe one or two like kind of golden oldies from the records before. I mean, we like giving a nice kind of broad, especially coming so far and people who maybe been listening to us for a while. We want to play stuff from all the albums. But yeah, we're really excited. Mostly as I guess you can imagine every band would, to like really get into the new record, Amazing Things, because it'll be the first time we've ever played stuff in Australia from that. And yeah, I guess the last touring we've done over the last few months has been the first time we've actually played quite a few of those songs and really gotten stuck into that album. Because we end up sort of slowly bringing in the songs to the set and not even overwhelming ourselves as like a whole new set of new music. But now it's been out for like a year and a half.
Yep.
Yeah, they properly come out. Yeah. There's only like a couple of the songs we still haven't played yet. So we're gonna, definitely like be milking that and giving the fans who I feel like, I don't know, it definitely feels, from our perspective, online at least, that's the only gauge we've got, that there's a lot of people who probably just discovered us off the back of this latest album. So, all the singles from that and a few album tracks for sure.
Awesome. Well, for all of our listeners out there, the tour kicks off on the 4th of May in Melbourne and then moves to Sydney on the 6th of May and Brisbane on the 7th of May. The band are touring, of course, with Alt and Wayside as well, and you can grab those tickets at thephoenix.au if you want to grab tickets online. Rob, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us today. It's been an absolute honour having you on the show. And to finish off, if you've got anything that you would like to say to all of your Australian fans out there.
No, thanks so much for having us. I mean, like, I guess, to everyone out there, thank you for being so patient. It's been, a bit of time now since we last came out, and I appreciate all the support you guys are giving us, everyone that's spinning our records, and we can't wait to see you. Well,
Rob, thank you so much for that, and for all of our listeners out there, we're going to take a listen to a track right now from Don Broco. So thank you so much, Rob. We'll see you in Australia very, very soon.
Yeah, see you soon. Thank you, man.